All right, so let's start with the big story that we are tracking on WION at this hour, and these are some breaking inputs that have just come in, where it is being reported that Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps have seized an Israeli-linked Portuguese-flagged commercial vessel in the Strait of Hormuz. The ship that was en route from the United Arab Emirates to India's Jawaharlal Nehru port was intercepted by the Iranian forces, and on board the ship, there are said to be about 17 Indian nationals. Now, the British Maritime Trade Operations has said that the vessel was seized about 92 kilometers northeast of Fujairah, an area that is close to the Strait of Hormuz that forms the entrance to the Gulf. The marine tracking sites have said that the vessel was the MSC Aries of Zodiac Maritime, an international shipping company that is partly owned by an Israeli company. And to give us more details on this, we're being joined in by WION's principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sabal, who's joining us over the phone line. Siddhant, what more information do we have on this story?
Well, Mohammed, this is the first confirmation by any India-based channel is by WION that there are 17 Indians on board this specific commercial vessel. You have given the details already that it was going from UAE. India's JNPT port, but essentially the big worry has been the escalation of the crisis, the Israel-Iran crisis. We have seen reports of the U.S. officials saying that there could be a strike by the Iranians in next 24 to 48 hours. So far, nothing so far has happened, but what has happened is that this specific vessel has been taken under the control of the Iranian forces. Now, essentially, a spillover effect is expected, and Indians are caught in the middle of it. Since state actors are involved, it will likely happen through government-to-government channel, that is, through the Indian government to the Iranian government, since Indian nationals are involved. Now, this specific case is different case from the previous cases where we have seen piracy incidents or Houthis attacking, because these were non-state actors who were involved in attacking commercial vessels where Indians were present, and the Indian Navy used to do the action. We have seen visuals as well. In this case, there cannot be any such action given that it is a state force that has been involved, and that is why, to de-escalate the situation, the Indian government has to engage with the Iranian government. We do expect some kind of development over next few hours and next few days as well, but clearly it is a case of escalation where, of course, India is now getting impacted with this development. We know that the Indians have been playing an important role in the global shipping. That is why we have heard so many reports as to how the Indian Navy has been involved in safeguarding Indian nationals whenever there have been attacks by Houthis or there have been Somali piracy incidences, and the Indian Navy has engaged and able to rescue the Indian nationals and other foreign nationals as well, we have seen in the past. But all in all, a worrying development over the situation in West Asia. India recently issued an advisory as well, asking its nationals not to go to Israel or Iran. It was just issued yesterday, and India is part of the growing list of countries who have been issuing advisories to their nationals not to travel to West Asia over the escalating situation.
Absolutely, indeed, Siddhant, as you mentioned, because this is a state actor that is involved, and considering the fact that India also has good relations with both Iran and also with Israel, with whom we have extensive trade and other cultural and historical linkages. The government, of course, will get talking as to how this is taken forward. It is the fact that there were about 17 Indian crew members on board this ship that has been seized by the Iranian forces in the Strait of Hormuz. At this point of time, Siddhant, because it is still a developing story, have the Iranian authorities said anything as to why this particular specific ship that is said to be partly owned by Israel was seized by the Iranian authorities?
Well, the first public confirmation regarding this development came through Iranian media, the Iranian media saying that the forces have taken over. So In this specific case, we know that when it comes to the developments regarding this case, there is an Israeli link, because the Iranian media did report that there is the Iranian link, which we all know. It has a link of an Israeli tycoon owning the company which of the ship, and this is led to it is believed this ongoing development. But all in all, it is a clear fallout of Iran-Israel conflict, the growing conflict that the West Asian region has seen, and this specific ship has now got involved essentially in terms of the growing conflict. It was seized in the Strait of Hormuz. Now this is a narrow strip of ocean where of course we have seen in the past Houthi attacks as well, piracy incidents as well around it. So essentially it's a bottleneck, it is believed, and that is why this ship was able to be seized by the Iranian forces. But all in all, it looks like it will be giving a lot of problems for India as well, where policymakers will be clearly burning the midnight oil to make sure that these 17 Indians are rescued as soon as possible. But it looks like it won't be the first, it won't be the last case where Indians have got involved in crossfire between the various actors in the West Asian region.
Absolutely, indeed, Siddhant. Thank you very much indeed for joining us and getting us all those details. This, of course, is a developing story. We'll come back to you as more details emerge. But at this point of time, this, of course, is what is being established. It is still not clear as to why the Iranians have seized this particular ship that goes by the name MSC Ares. It is said to be partly owned by an Israeli co-owner. This ship is said to be a Portuguese-flagged ship. But more importantly, from the Indian perspective, 17 crew members who were on board the ship were said to be Indians. Now, this, remember, is not a piracy-related incident. This is where the governments, of course, will put their heads together and will have to sort this issue out. But this, of course, is the latest in terms of what has unfolded this moment in the Strait of Hormuz. Now, questions are also being raised. Is this a form of a retaliation that Iran... It was being talked about for almost about a fortnight now. Was this a part of a reprisal by Iran for its embassy that was bombed in Damascus? It is still not clear. More information, of course, needs to come out. This, of course, is a developing story that has just unfolded, where Iran has confirmed that it has seized an Israel-linked vessel in the Strait of Hormuz. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.